Okay, guys, this is going to be my review for Wandavision, the series finale. I really loved it. I think it wrapped up in the way that I wanted to. It had the big moments, but also the emotional moments. No line. You've said goodbye to me before, so it stands to reason. And then she says, We'll say hello again." I think that was a great line. I think there were great moments from the ship of Theseus. Parallels and analogy that was very interesting to me, to the different ruin stuff. It was just a very good episode, great conclusion. I didn't care for any of the big reveals. Like, I'm a guy who's story, and if the story has to come first. And so if it didn't fit for the story for Doctor Strange to show up, then I don't care. If it didn't fit for the story to have, Mr. Fantastic show up, I don't care. If it didn't fit for the story, I'm fine. I'm actually happy the Fox X-Men wasn't brought in. I mean, I didn't think it was even from the beginning because I figured, Kevin Feige wouldn't do that. But I didn't want that because it's like, my thought process on that is, I want to start fresh in the MCU, in terms of the X-Men, and I just think everyone who was disappointed seemed to look for the big pop. And did Marvel troll us or not? It's hard to say. At the end of the day, I think it has to come down to fan expectation at the end of the day. Because no matter how much they trolled us, okay, but does that still hinder? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm 100% sure that was Fox's Quicksilver. It's about, the question is, does not having the big reveal ruin it for you? And for me, I don't care. That's never been what made the MCU great, or movies great, or TV great. It was fun and all in The Mandalorian, but that was because it had integral part to the story and made sense for, Luke to show up. But here, at the end of the day, I'm realizing it didn't make sense for anyone to show up. This was Wanda's story, and it was very emotional ending. At the end of the day, she left as the villain ultimately. At the end of the day, you see her on the run, looking at the Darkhold. She's in all intents and purposes left as the bad guy because no one, who's gonna like her, who's gonna trust her. It doesn't matter if she justifies it for herself. There's no getting around it. She's a villain. She mind controlled these people, and yeah, you could say Hayward shot those kids, but those kids weren't real. It's like shooting air. Shooting those kids were like shooting air, and he knew that. He watched WandaVision. It's like he's trying to protect the city. I mean, these kids were fake. Okay, and listen, it doesn't matter. Wanda just killed them anyway. So it's like whether Hayward did it. Okay, if Hayward does it, it's evil. But if Wanda does it, it's not. No, it's fine if Wanda does it because they're never real. And I think this is the idea that they're not real. Okay, you're not shooting kids, but okay, you could say, oh, she's shooting kids, fake kids, manifested kids. Just as much just as much a kid as the air I breathe. At the end of the day, because they're all manifestations. They die there or they die at the end of the day. They're not real. They can't leave the hex. I think it was very crazy. And I think another thing that this had, more than any other MCU film or MCU content, it felt like there were stakes. Where it's like, I know there's no stakes because I know they all come back. The snap in Infinity War, it's cool and all, but there's no stakes for me because I know they come back. In Endgame, it's, okay, but, they come back and look what happened. Chris Evans already come back as Captain America, and I definitely expect Iron Man to come back. In Infinity War, Gamora gets killed. It doesn't matter. She's back in Endgame. And so I think there was actual sense of stakes. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, and the question of did they bring Vision back? No, because the way I look at it is, yeah, White Vision has the memories now of real Vision. He didn't live through it. I think there's a difference between remembering things and living through things. Because I think the way your brain works is if I remember something that happened a couple years ago, not only am I remembering it, but I'm like reliving it. Think of a moment in your life. And when you think about it, you don't just think of it as a memory, you think about it because you lived through it. And that's the difference. White Vision remembers things, but he doesn't remember things that happened to him. Like, he doesn't remember and feel those things. He doesn't remember being there. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have memory, but it's another thing to have memory of things you lived through. White Vision is not the real Vision. He has the real Vision's memory, but that Vision who lived through those events of Infinity War and Civil War, they're not there. That's not Vision. That's not Vision who lived through those moments, and that's not his subconscious. Yeah, memories are one thing, but personality is another. White Vision's personality is different. Character traits. His character traits are different. So to say this is Vision, no, because it's not the Vision Wanda fell in love with. Wanda fell in love with the Vision in Civil War, in Age of Ultron, Infinity War. But that's not that Vision. Just because you have a memory, if someone gave me this random person's memory, it doesn't mean I'm that random person. If I get my brother's memory, that doesn't mean that I'm his brother because I have his memory. And let's say me and my brother were identical twins. If I get his memory, that doesn't mean I'm him. Personality's different, character's different, feelings are different, thought process is different. It's different. And while I think White Vision will be integral probably in Doctor Strange 2 and going forward, that doesn't mean that White Vision is now Vision. So I think it stands to reason that, yeah, by the time of Far From Home, Vision is dead. And as far as the kids, I definitely think the kids will be back. And, it's just, I don't know. It is, but it is what it is. But I think the suit was, the Scarlet Witch outfit was great. There's some really cool moments. So I think it ended on the best way possible and the most, when you think about it, the most satisfying way possible. And like the director said, the most inevitable way possible. And I think I definitely think a lot of people don't like it because they just didn't like it. They didn't like the finale. But I think there are a lot of people saying, I didn't like it because they, trolled us. Or I didn't like it because they did all this, and this. But at the end of the day, I realize throw your expectations and wishes at the door when you watch it and just watch it for what it is. Because I think if you... for a lot of people who are disappointed because of a lack of a big reveal, I think at the end of the day, if you sit back and think, what's that show like if I didn't think... Because I think, yeah, if you go in the mindset of there's going to be a big reveal and there isn't, or a big character and there's a big actor and there isn't, and if you go into it thinking that, that's Quicksilver, yeah, maybe you'll be disappointed. But I think that's a lesson to show maybe it's okay to theorize, but make sure you're theorizing, always keep at the back of mind that this might not happen. Because I think when you get too invested in your theories, it becomes the theories control your enjoyment. And I think I've seen it, and I think you see that a lot, when it's like, man, there's no big cameo or big reveal, or Doctor Strange didn't show up, or, Hank Pym didn't show up, or so-and-so didn't show up. Suddenly, because they didn't show up, because that big character reveal, or that big thing you wanted to happen didn't happen, suddenly now it's bestowed upon you to be disappointed, when it's okay to be disappointed, but I think to assess and come up to the conclusion that suddenly this finale fails because it didn't go in the direction I want. Because I think, at the end of the day, if you sit back and think, from beginning to end, what this show was about, it's not about the multiverse. It's not about the X-Men. It's about Wanda. And I think a lot of people got so amped up in this concept of this connecting into Spider-Man 3 and Multiverse of Madness that was all they were thinking of. They were thinking about X-Men and the multiverse. And I think that was the problem. And I think that was the key. I think people should have went into it. And it's tricky because in a way, I think this should have been the approach. I think in hindsight, I think Kevin Feige should have never mentioned that this would connect to Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, because I think that was what happened. You hear that, Jamie Foxx is returning back as Electro, and you hear all this stuff that I think a lot of fans, not me, because to be honest, I was in it for the individual. I'm always in it for the individual story. Honestly, to be honest, multiverse seems too crazy, too weird, too goofy, too just out there, But, it is what it is. But I think what a lot of fans ended up feeling was disappointment because the overall picture didn't come into play. Because, yeah, maybe that the overall picture is, multiverse. But I think fans were disappointed when the broader picture was introduced. And I think a lot of people were looking to see how WandaVision tied into Doctor Strange 2, when really it should be vice versa. Watching Doctor Strange 2, you should see how it ties into WandaVision. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how the two are going to link, because we've only seen one out of the three. And so it's tricky to know. And I definitely think I can theorize how they're going to tie in, but we just don't know. I think we have no sample size. Everything we have is just based off one 30-second end credit scene. So it's like it's something I don't even know how to start in terms of addressing where I even think they're gonna go with it. Nor do I have a clear prediction, But what I will say is this show has been great. It's been so fun to watch. It's not the best show, but it's just a fun show. I think it was a great reintroduction to the MCU after a year and a half hiatus. And it's crazy because this show is so good, but the crazy part about this show is and this is totally intentional, but it truly is. The craziest part is it's mixed personalities. You watch episode 1 and episode 2. Like I think it would be funny if you show someone episode 1 and then immediately show them episode 9. It's just jarring to see the complete difference between how the show started and how it finished. And that's the great part, is seeing the journey. It's the journey that made the show. The journey from each episode, you get, the world of Westview and this world of WandaVision gets slowly and slowly more and more chaotic. And to the point where the chaos overcomes the normality of it. So yeah, it's crazy. But I really did enjoy the show. Anyways, stay tuned for more videos coming at you.